Review: Silent Hill 2. Introduction: Silent Hill 2 stands as a haunting masterpiece in the survival horror genre, often regarded as one of the finest examples of psychological horror in gaming. Originally released in 2001, the game was developed by Team Silent and has since become a cult classic, known for its disturbing atmosphere, profound storytelling, and unsettling imagery. With its recent remake, Silent Hill 2 continues to terrify and captivate players by exploring themes of guilt, trauma, and the human psyche, all set against the fog-shrouded, nightmarish town of Silent Hill. Story and setting: The story of Silent Hill 2 revolves around James Sunderland, a man who receives a letter from his deceased wife, Mary, beckoning him to the mysterious town of Silent Hill. Stricken by grief and confusion, James ventures into the fog-covered town, hoping to find answers. What follows is a descent into madness, where the line between reality and nightmare blurs as James confronts the twisted manifestations of his own mind. The game's setting is Silent Hill, a town that feels alive with malevolent energy, from the abandoned, dilapidated buildings to the ever-present fog. The town serves as a character in itself, its eerie atmosphere amplifies the tension and psychological horror that permeates every corner. Silent Hill adapts to James' inner turmoil, reflecting his emotional state through terrifying environments, grotesque monsters, and disturbing imagery. Gameplay and mechanics: Silent Hill 2 is a third-person survival horror game, and its mechanics emphasize vulnerability and psychological tension over combat prowess. The gameplay design reinforces the feelings of isolation and helplessness, with puzzles, exploration, and combat serving as tools to immerse players deeper into the chilling world. Exploration: Silent Hill's fog-filled streets and dark interiors are designed to unsettle players. As James, you explore various locations such as the eerie apartment buildings, hospitals, and lakeside areas, each filled with clues, puzzles, and terrifying enemies. Exploration is key to progressing, but the town's oppressive atmosphere makes even the simplest tasks feel ominous. The limited visibility, dim lighting, and chilling sound design make Silent Hill feel both vast and claustrophobic. Puzzles: The game features intricate puzzles that blend into the surreal narrative. These puzzles often challenge players' logic and attention to detail, and they add layers of depth to the game's story. Some puzzles even reflect James' inner conflict, making their solutions feel intertwined with the psychological themes at play. Combat in Silent Hill 2 is purposefully clunky, further emphasizing James' vulnerability. While armed with basic weapons like a pipe or a handgun, James is not a skilled fighter, and every encounter with the grotesque monsters feels tense and dangerous. The slow and avert combat system adds to the game's oppressive atmosphere, reinforcing the fighting is often not the best option. Fleeing and conserving resources may be the wiser choice. Monsters and bosses: The enemies in Silent Hill 2 are more than just physical threats, they are symbolic representations of James' guilt and psychological trauma. The infamous Pyramid Head, for example, embodies punishment and repressed emotions, appearing at critical points in the story to remind players of the horrors lurking in James' subconscious. Each enemy design is deeply symbolic, making every encounter feel meaningful and nightmarish. Visuals and atmosphere: Silent Hill 2 excels in creating a world steeped in dread through its use of atmosphere, both visually and audibly. The original game's low-fidelity graphics gave it a raw, surreal feel, but the remake takes this a step further, enhancing every detail with modern graphics while preserving the essence of the original. The game's multicolor palette, oppressive fog, and disturbingly detailed environments paint a picture of decay and desolation. The fog, a staple of the series, not only limits visibility but also adds to the player's sense of isolation, making every corner and shadow a potential threat. The sound design in Silent Hill 2 is legendary. The haunting industrial soundtrack by Akira Yamaoka blends mechanical sounds, eerie melodies, and moments of silence to create an atmosphere of unease. The Ambient noises like the sound of distant footsteps, broken machinery, or strange growls keep players on edge, constantly questioning what lies ahead in the darkness. Themes and psychological depth. What truly sets Silent Hill 2 apart is its deep exploration of psychological horror. The narrative isn't just about supernatural threats, but about James' emotional and mental journey. As players progress, they uncover James' buried memories and confront his inner demons. The game touches on themes of grief, guilt, repression, and the consequences of one's actions, making it an emotionally intense experience. Every character James meets represents some phase of his psyche or past, and the town itself morphs to reflect the unresolved guilt he carries. The multiple endings based on players' actions throughout the game further reinforce the deeply personal nature of the story. Each conclusion offers a different interpretation of James' fate, leaving players reflecting on their journey long after the credits roll. Challenges and rewards. The difficulty of the Silent Hill 2 is manageable for most players, but the psychological tension is where the true challenge lies. The game's balance of puzzles, exploration, and combat ensures players remain engaged, but the real reward comes from the narrative's emotional depth and symbolism. Players who pay attention to the story's nonsense and environmental details will uncover layers of meaning that enrich the experience, from uncovering hidden lore to interpreting the symbolism behind enemies and locations. The game encourages players to dig deeper into its psychological mysteries. Conclusion. Silent Hill 2 is more than just a survival horror game. It's a psychological journey into the darkest corners of the human mind. With its compelling narrative, haunting atmosphere, and deep emotional themes, it stands as a masterpiece in genre. The combination of symbolic storytelling, disturbing imagery, and impressive gameplay ensures that Silent Hill 2 leaves a lasting impression on all who dare to explore its foggy streets. For those seeking a game that goes beyond mere scares, offering a complex and emotionally charged story, Silent Hill 2 remains one of the most compelling horror experiences in gaming history. Whether you're a returning fan or a newcomer, Silent Hill 2 is an unforgettable descent into psychological horror.